Joyce and I have traveled, toured, and camped all over the lower 48 states. And we've gotten a feel about what they think of us from questions that they ask when they find out we're from Maine. Many think that at least part of Maine is in the Arctic Circle. They put us at the same latitude as Alaska. And they think that after a blizzard, of which we have one every other day, we're snowed in for a month, when the reality is we're out that day or the next day. In our travels, we've been asked lots of questions about Maine. When asked if they've ever been to Maine, the answer is, yes, I've been to Bar Harbor. When asked, do you want to go to Maine, they usually say, yes, I want to go to Bar Harbor. Have you ever been to the Bush's house? Do you know him? We eat lobster 3 times a day and feed it to our cats and dogs because they're just roaming around the streets everywhere. Everyone in Maine is a fisherman because, don't you know, there's only coastline. This bird is a Maine penguin. And so is this one. Have you ever had Moxie? I'd like to try it. I heard it's really bad. It would seem that flush toilets have yet to make it to most areas of Maine.
This is an article from WebMD.com on how to understand the difference between cons and calluses. What is a con? What is a callus?
It's breezy out here today in southern Maine, which is where I'm from. Maine's dialects are certainly unique and well known throughout the country. And all of the travels that we've done, we have found that out quite a bit because people often talk about Maine and talk about the different dialects they hear. One thing that I'm told sometimes is that I don't have that much of a Maine accent. And I think that's because of a couple of reasons. One was that I was a teacher most of my adult life, and you tend to go into teacher mode, both in being able to project your voice and also having a diction that is more normal. I don't know if you'd call it that, more correct. But I can go far in the car just like the next person, and when I'm talking casually, I usually talk that way. This is a horse, of course, but we commonly pronounce it hoss. If you remember the TV show Bonanza. Families gathered around the TV on Sunday evening to watch Bonanza. And remember, we pronounce horse as hoss, but we see it as horse. The family of Cartwrights were comprised of Adam, the oldest, Ben Cartwright, the father, Little Joe, the youngest, and Hoss. So, this is Hoss, and this is a horse, but they're both a hoss, and of course, they're both a horse. Do you see the dilemma? Hoss Cartwright was a big burly guy in a 10-gallon hat. He was pretty tough. He was named Hoss, and a generation of kids grew up thinking he was named Horse because of that. But only in Maine. Southern and western Maine usually has more implants from other states. And as a result, we tend to have less of an accent than some other parts of the state. We still don't pronounce our R's, but there's much more to Maine accents than R's, and we'll just go into a few of them here. We tend to take a word like lobster, which is used as an example a lot because Maine lobsters, and we tend to leave off the R and change it to an A, or rather change the last ER to an A. So instead of lobster, we say lobster. And when I say lobster, I can hear the difference, but in casual conversation, it sounds perfectly normal because this is where I'm from. So we eat lobster, we ride in the car, and we have our R's at the end of the words that are removed and replaced by A's. Now, in central and northern Maine, you start seeing the A at the end of the words, like lobster, more pronounced, so it adds more of an H to it. So instead of saying lobster, and let's see if I can do this right, instead of lobster, it comes out lobster. So it's almost like a ah at the end. It's an enhanced A, lobster. And you'll also see this down east. But in central and northern Maine, it's almost the A or the AH, lobster and lobster. I know there's a subtle difference there, but we can hear it. You will see some people talk with an R. It varies, like I said, this isn't clear cut throughout the state. Now when you get down east, and down east means sort of like the central northern coastal region of Maine. You start seeing all those fishing villages. There's tons of small ports, and they're all named ports, Searsport, Harpsport, whatever. And you have a lot of lobster and a lot of lobster, but you also start seeing a separation between the S and the T in the word lobster. And there's actually an H put in there. And that H gives it an SH sound. So you start hearing lobster. And that's where you get those comedians who do the down Maine accents. They really accentuate this. Yeah, we eat lobster.
And you may not realize that we have a lot in common with Bond, James Bond. And just like we change lobster to lobster, Sean Connery would have made a great Mainer.
Once more, we play our dangerous game. A game of chess against our old adversary.
His lisp is similar to a down Maine accent. And of course, who wouldn't recognize Miss Moneypenny? Here is a dresser. Of course, we pronounce it dresser. A dresser, there is a drawer. Of course, our dressers have drawers. Of course, in Maine, these are both draw, but we see them by their correct spellings in our mind. And there's something about the ER after a W. It's very hard to pronounce. I have difficulty with it. We pronounce it drawer if we are forced to do it that way. I can pronounce drawer, but it sounds so alien to me. It's almost as if you were to try to say drawer.
But who determines which R's change? You can have quarter and change both R's and make it quarter. You can have cracker and change it to cracker, but you can't get rid of the first R in cracker. It would come out caca. That just doesn't work. There are a lot of other nuances to a Maine accent too, but there are too many to do here. For example, if someone was fishing in Maine, which they do often, then they might say they're fishing. Not just fishing, leaving off the G, but fishing, Ian. So you'd say, yeah, I'm going fishing, which is my bad way of doing a Maine accent. So Maine is just a fascinating place, weather-wise, people-wise, their nuances, the way they live, the down Maine Yankee sort of mentality that just don't worry about it. We're used to living a little slower, and we kind of like it that way. I've lived faster in more metropolitan areas and never got used to it. Some people like it, but we're just Mainers. Thanks for watching.